Great. I think bird nesting is a wonderful option for parents who are getting divorced and are concerned about their children. So I'm a psychologist. In all my years as a psychologist working with families, what I saw was the trauma of the divorce on children. And that if the parents could find a way to reduce the trauma for the children, the long-term outcomes would be much better. I myself nested with my ex-husband back in 1994 and learned a lot in the process because really had to make it up as we went along. In about 5 years ago, the publisher Simon & Schuster came to me and asked me to write this book because they had seen a blog I had written about it. There is no other guide to bird nesting out there for people who want to nest. So maybe I need to explain what nesting is. Nesting means that the children stay in the home and the parents rotate in and out, on and off duty, according to some kind of schedule that they've agreed on. So it could be a 2-2-3 or a week on, week off schedule. But the important part is that the children don't go back and forth between two homes. They stay in one home. Their lives are not disrupted. The parents have some time to learn to be single parents. And they also have some time to try to sort out what they're going to do about their marriage, if they're going to reconcile, if they're going to divorce. It gives a slow startup to the divorce, and it's definitely a softer startup for the children.
So in the concept of nesting, and you taught me this when we did our pre-interview, on the East Coast, they call it bird nesting. On the West Coast, we call it nesting. But what it is the children stay put and the parents move in and out. So, and that means that there has to be a second home, an apartment, something that both parents use when they're not on duty in the family residence where the children are living, correct?
Not necessarily. There are a lot of different arrangements that can work and support a nesting arrangement. During COVID, especially the first year, there were a lot of people that wanted to separate but couldn't. And I worked with many couples to set up a nesting arrangement where they both stayed in the house, but they sectioned off areas of the home where they could be. They might have had to rearrange children in order to free up another bedroom. I worked with some people who were able to use an unused space like an attic that they kind of built out, or a basement. There was a show on ABC a couple of years ago called Splitting Up Together, and they used the garage as the place where the parents came when they were off duty. If people can afford it, each parent having a place to go is better than them sharing a place, because it just reduces the stress that much more. So when I nested with my ex, I rented a room in a shared rental. He had developed another relationship and he stayed with his girlfriend. I've worked with many people who stay with friends or families when they're off duty. I worked with one man who was able to sleep in the church, that there was a sofa bed that his pastor allowed him to use. I've worked with people who set up their offices with fold-out sofas. So there are a lot of different ways, either in the home, outside the home, sharing an offsite like an apartment or a studio apartment, or having two separate places. In other words, being completely separated when they were off